On some real shit, no, you can have your cake and eat it too, bro. You can have the whole fucking cake to yourself, eat it as you so choose. And honestly, it gets to a point where you have to understand that there's opportunities everywhere. And it's up to you to be able to recognize those opportunities and be able to capitalize on them. And there's more than enough for everyone to have their own in terms of what it is that they want, aspire to be, do, and have. And I think a lot of the time people get caught up in the conception of, oh, I can't do that because of X, Y, and Z, or that's not made for me, or I can't do this, I can't do that. Why would I do that? And a lot of it is just mental blockage and a lot of mental blocks that they have self-inflicted on themselves. But at the same time, like, if you see so many people doing something that you know you want to do, what's really holding you back from being able to do that shit? And most of the time, a lot of people don't want to point the finger at themselves. They'd rather blame other people, other circumstances, other situations that have prevented them to be able to overcome those roadblocks in order to get to where they want to go. But what you must realize is that all this shit is made for you to have. That's why somebody built that car for you to buy. Somebody built that computer for you to create. Somebody built that home for you to live in. Somebody made food for you to eat. So all this shit is made already. It's just up to us to be able to think that and choose that, yeah, this is what I'm gonna fuck with. This is what I'm not gonna fuck with. I'll go over there, but I'm not going over there. And being able to have your own curated environment to do what it is that you want to do and find fulfilling. And this can be literally anything that you so choose. And that's why understanding what you like and you don't like is so important, because a lot of the time people just don't know who they are. And when they don't know who they are, they tend to drift and just do things because other people are doing them, knowing damn well that they don't want to do it. And when you live a life like that, and you live a life that somebody else places upon you, you will always forever be unhappy. And those are the people that end up going to these retirement homes, be like, damn, I wish I would have did this. Damn, I wish I would have did that. I hoped and dreamt of doing this, but I never did it. And that's why I'm saying, like, as long as you're willing to sacrifice for a little bit, sacrifice in the short term to be increasingly monumental in the long run, that's all that matters. But having a clear head and having a clarity behind what it is that you want to do is the most important thing. If you're trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to do this, trying to do that all at one time, it's never going to work. That's why picking one thing. Now, if you're picking one thing, if you stuck to it for a certain amount of time, you're like, hey, I'm going to allocate 6 months. If I don't get anything, cool. But if this is something that you really want to do, you haven't got results in 6 months, just keep going. But if you know it's something you don't really want to do, and you don't really have a genuine burning desire to do it, drop it. But take those skills that you learned and apply it to the next thing. Do that the same thing over and over and over again, so that way you have a compounding effect and you also have a solid background. So when it is time for you to capitalize on that opportunity, you're already prepared for it because you already did the grunt work beforehand. Being able to have a way of thinking in a sense that wanting to do whatever you want may seem a little scary, right? You're like, oh, I don't know what will happen if I do this, or oh, I don't know what will happen if I do that. And yeah, it's obviously a limiting block. But at the same time, would you rather be okay with where you are today for the next 10, 15 years of your life, or try to figure out how I can overcome this little hurdle to get me to where I want to go so that I don't have to worry about that shit anymore? I don't have to worry about doing this. I don't have to worry about doing that. I can pay somebody to do this. I can hire somebody to do that. And once you start really thinking and start curating a life that you really want to live, all this shit will just become a byproduct. You start putting in the work. You learn how to communicate. You learn how to articulate. You learn skills that are applicable to your whatever field you want to be in. You're good to people. You take care of people. You just have a welcoming personality. I'm not saying you have to have all these things, but relationships are definitely better than money. And the reason I say that is because people are the reason why we're able to do things that we're able to do today. Somebody built that car, somebody built this computer, somebody built this phone I'm recording on. So people are the fundamental framework as to how opportunities are created, relationships are built, trust is built, and all these other things, how business is orchestrated. So being able to communicate is so important, because if you literally are doing this all by yourself and you have nobody to talk to, you have no relationships, yeah, you can still do it. Will it be a lot harder? Yeah, but why work twice as hard to say, oh, I did it by myself, than going to be able to meet people or talk to people? Like, you're talking to people on a daily basis. So human interaction is always going to be something that you're going to have to deal with anyway. So you might as well get good at it now. And really just understand, like, hey, I know, and when you're able to communicate in a way, let me say this. When you're able to communicate in a way that you know who's good for you, you know who's bad for you, because you've been able to ask the proper questions as to who is, like, is this somebody I can trust versus is this someone I can't trust? Being able to have that mental strength and fortitude to be able to understand and have the discernment, like, hey, I ain't gonna fuck with dude. He not on the same type of time as me. Or, yeah, I know that guy over there, he was doing some shady shit. I ain't gonna fuck with dude. You would know this shit because you've dealt with people and you know patterns, and you understand when people do certain things, it's a trigger because of something they have internally that is projected outward that you see. So let's say if you see somebody that got some dirty shoes on, right? Your first thought is gonna be, this guy's probably super dirty. He doesn't take care of himself. He doesn't care how he conveys himself to the world. So if that's the case, and I have this person around me where I do the opposite of those things, he's gonna make me look bad. So when you start understanding this shit, it gets to a point where it's like, I know I can fuck with bro. Oh no, I can't fuck with bro. But I know I'm kind of going off the rails a little bit. But when you really understand that there's more than enough opportunity for you to win, you have to think, the United States is probably one of the most free countries in the world, and there's opportunities everywhere. You just have to put yourself in position to be able to not only see those opportunities, but also be able to capitalize on them. And when these opportunities do arise, you're always going to deal with people, whether someone's presenting you the opportunity or someone's connecting you to someone that has the opportunity already lined up, or if there's a group of y'all all want to do the same thing, and y'all are all coming together to figure out how y'all can make a solution or whatever problem y'all trying to solve. And when you start to understand shit like this, it's like, damn, like, not only is the world full of people, but also too, like, there's a spot for me on this team too, and I can do whatever it is that I want to do. And at least for me personally, I knew that when I quote unquote say have my cake and eat it too, I knew exactly what I wanted. I doubled down and did the things that I know I needed to do, and I knew who I wanted to be, and I had to take the actionable steps into who I wanted to be. And a byproduct of who I became, all the other opportunities, circumstances, money all fell into my lap because of who I was projecting myself to the world as. And once you get to a certain frequency and you have a certain way of thinking, everything just starts coming to you. It's so great. I can't, if you've never really experienced it, it's kind of difficult to convey, but basically, like, it is true. Like, your mind is everything. If you have a shitty mindset and you have shitty beliefs, you will not get very far. But the thing is that you can always constantly change your mindset. What did I do personally? I meditated. I listened to podcasts of people that are characteristics of people that I liked, so I could understand and adopt their belief system, so that I could go out and do certain things that were either personal to me or work related, so that if I were to see this come up, I know how to go about it. Or if I didn't see this initially, why did I not see it at that time? And just being able to constantly have positive influences around me at all times, whether it's books, podcasts, people. This is why curating your own environment is so important, because you are who you hang around. As cliche as it sounds, you are who you hang around. So if you're hanging around shitty people all day, don't think that you're not gonna have a shitty life. And honestly, like, over the test of time, I was like, maybe I just need to be alone for a little bit. and sort this shit out myself. And that's literally what I did. All the friends that I had at that time, they were all doing bullshit. We was all 18, 19. So people were going to school. I went to school. So a lot of people were just on the party shit. I wasn't really with that shit because I knew my 4 years at college was going by quick. So I was like, let me just dedicate a year, lock the fuck in, do what I know I need to do. And then that way, in my late years of school, I can do what the fuck I want. I already set myself up. So then that way, once I graduate college, I'm set. And now we at that point in time where I'm really just having my way. And it doesn't take long either. Like, don't think this shit is going to take forever. But also, too, like, just fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the wins, fall in love with the lessons, fall in love with the experiences, the trials and tribulations you overcame, because all that builds character for the next level and the next level and the next level. So sometimes you have to go through these certain issues so that you can not only level up, but you also got more armor equipped so you can endure more. You know, don't think like, oh, I gotta do this, oh, I gotta do that. No, it's building you up so that you can withstand more, make more, be able to withstand more stress, you know? So just look at it with a positive outlook. That's it for today's video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.